did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now I'm not even sure Spittle Tap's doing it.
success
Yeah,
with the
it's
cans.
kind of a
We
rough
had
deal.
more success with like limited crowlers because.
Okay.
I mean,
supply and demand.
It just depends on the location and
Yeah,
the hype.
hype,
There's a lot of variables.
hype.
So like,
it depends
we
on your
tried
market and
that.
stuff.
We tried
Right.
to do the like, okay, let's do our cans. Well, people figured out that our cans didn't sell out. So we tried crawlers. Okay, with these crazy like barrel aged crawlers, like there's only this many. All right, it's all about scarcity
Yeah,
and
supply
hype.
and demand. Yeah.
Like I think it's those two things: scarcity and hype.
Yeah.
We didn't have the hype, so we had to do the scarcity.
Well, it would be impossible to recreate the hype in that one little moment of time that Spittle Tap had, right? When they did some of that stuff, when they'd sell out.
They've
They
evolved.
had a unique moment there.
Yeah.
They've
yeah.
evolved.
Well, they've had to because they don't have the same.
Yeah.
They didn't still enjoy that
I'll
same.
tell you what, if
You
Spittle
can't-
Tap's
the beer market
not
evolved,
selling out
yeah.
in 5 seconds, we don't have a chance.
Right.
All there is to
I
it.
have comments about that, but
Oh, that's right. We were talking Spittle Tap.
But I love their model. We tried to imitate it, and it didn't work. And we're like, why didn't it work? Well, we didn't have what they had.
Yeah.
We didn't have the hype.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
have the hype.
Well, they had a unique moment in craft beer.
It was a unique
No,
moment in
but
time.
They were the first people at
Yeah.
the trough,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they did a really amazing product.
Yeah.
And nobody else had
Thank
it.
you.
So I'm good for them.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
But we
Yep.
tried it, and we
I
were
haven't,
like,
I haven't
okay,
had some of these in a while.
we had to do something different.
get back in.
Turn Sylvia's mic back on.
Uh-oh, here we go.
3, 2, 1, boom.
Hey, so no Imperial Cream Ale. It was tapped out.
Oh,
Did it
sold
tap
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Poured like 4 pints down the drain.
They weren't
doing some
they weren't
R&D.
pints. They weren't
They're half
pints.
pints, so, but I feel
They were
so
half
bad.
at that point.
So
because
if
we
there's
don't
another
drink 'em all.
keg, then Janelle said we can go put
She'll
it on
dig
and we
it out
can
of the
try it.
vault.
But
Yeah,
in
we need to go
the
do
but in the
that.
meantime, I brought you guys today's throw.
This is
Throw it on
Throw it
Thursday.
on Thursday,
the
really.
Fluffy nuts
The fluffy
Riz.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
man. Cheers. Hey, thanks for letting us come in.
Yeah, cheers to
Oh,
that.
visit with y'all.
No, thank you for visiting with us. So we got
All right.
nothing better to do but drink by
The
ourselves.
whole time we're doing the cheers over the board, I'm scared, but it worked out.
Go careful. Go careful.
Yeah, credit to everybody.
We have
made
no toilet paper.
Yeah.
to wipe it off.
Yeah. All the toilet paper's actually in the bathrooms where it belongs.
Oh wow.
So this is a 12% peanut butter and marshmallow,
Russian
is.
Imperial Stout.
Russian
It is.
Imperial.
This is
Wow.
actually the beer I started my night on.
So I'm getting the marshmallow better now that I've had like 8 different beers. I'm thinking it's
so
just
it's
because I'm.
this is the drinking order thing that I was talking about like forever ago when I was telling you about like the beer tasting classes I've had. So you go from having all these like fruity and like IPA bitter stuff.
Oh, it matters.
And,
Yeah, it matters.
and then you go to
I get
something
nothing
like
but
this,
marshmallow.
and like it's all marshmallow.
So I
yeah.
got nothing but peanut butter early on when I
Yeah.
tried. I was like, this tastes like peanut butter. There's no marshmallow, and now I'm getting nothing but marshmallow. So the palate is a tricky thing.
It is tricky. Yeah.
And never trust
is,
it.
yes.
It's always lying
Yep.
to you.
Well, especially after you're talking to me,
so-
because that will make you taste.
So
anything
what I
good.
will say is, anytime you try a beer and you're not sure about it, try it 2 or 3 more times.
Yep.
I tell my son the same thing. When he tries broccoli, I'm like, try it again. He
This
hates
time
it.
it has cheese on it.
Try it again.
Oh, that's the best.
If you
broccoli.
spit it out 4 times, it's probably not for you.
Then we'll try again tomorrow.
But don't but don't try it once, spit it out, and then tweet everybody that you hated it.
Yeah.
Give it a few tries.
Right. Truth.
But seriously, like your palate is a very dynamic thing,
Yeah.
and actually, if you brushed your teeth or ate something,
Oh, yeah.
beer tastes different.
Oh yeah.
So you had to. I've had my own beer that we've brewed for 4 years, and I'll drink a beer. I'm like, Alex, what's wrong with my beer? He's like, there's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with my palate?
You had Altoids earlier.
Chewing the gum.
It happens all the time. So the best thing I can share with anybody that's new at drinking beer, like people that have been doing it, they know this already. But try a beer a couple times before you judge it. Before you put that little hate mail or anything, say that. Try it. Because every time I was at work and I would put an email about something that was like personal or emotional,
Yeah.
I read it a few times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I changed the words. Actually, I'd go take a break, eat lunch, come back, and
Right,
rewrite
right.
the email.
Yeah.
I think beer's the same way. You try it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, definitely.
If you get the same emotion,
Yeah.
shoot it off.
And your beer
man.
palate also definitely changes over time. Like beers
Oh,
that
yeah.
I liked like years and years ago, I go and I have again, and like I still appreciate what it was that was in there, but there's also beers that like I tried the very first time years and years ago, back when I was a young, stupid beer drinker, didn't know what I was doing, and
It's
they
all
were
it's
terrible.
relative to
and then I
the
go back to
time.
them like a year ago, like after like 5 or 6 years of like actually being into craft beer now and like enjoying all the stuff, and I'll have this one. It's like, oh, I was definitely an idiot when I didn't appreciate this beer.
You were a different guy. You were
Yeah, I
just a
was.
different guy. I'm getting nothing but marshmallow. I got nothing but
Marshmallows.
peanut butter, and same day. Weird.
I got some peanut butter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fluffy
That was
nut
good.
sacks.
That was good.
Fluffy nuts.
yeah.
Is that code name for this beer?
That's what we're calling the Imperial Cream Ale version of this.
I think so. Yeah.
And then I think
Fluffy
we're
nuts.
It's one of the names
actually
we've tossed around.
we
It's
might
the one that we've
actually
had
can
Is that
that.
fluffy nuts with a Z at the end,
Yeah.
or an S, or
That's
just trying
anyone's
to
guess. I'm thinking
blame.
squirrel with, but who knows what our graphic designer is going to come up with?
Yeah.
I hope it's a squirrel with like poofed up cheeks.
Yeah.
but-
He always does a good job, whatever he does. Yeah.
We asked for a unicorn that was like farting out rainbows for the ridiculous, and he did a pig with tattoos. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I'm
it worked.
I'm gonna leave it with that guy. Like that guy knows. I don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a true art, graphic design, and especially illustration. Getting into that level, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
some talented folks out there.
Yes.
Man, I really enjoyed that. So, and that was the
Fluff-
That was a
Nutter.
throwdown.
yeah, that was the
That's
yeah.
our peanut butter
the
marshmallow Russian
Fluffer
Imperial
Nutter,
Stout. Yeah.
Russian Imperial Stout.
Yep.
Excellent. Should we mix in a weekend brew, or should we just keep talking? Let's keep talking.
Let's keep talking.
We-
I have to exit for a second.
okay.
Josh is going to take a potty break.
High level. But I love the idea that we're.
You got to make more space for more beer.
Right.
That's the real trick.
So, Lewis, how long have you been brewing here?
I'm going on 8 months already.
8 months?
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got some history in this area, too. I know you were at Texas Beer Refinery, and
Yeah.
you worked at another brewery before that,
No.
right? No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Started off at Texas Beer Refinery. Learned everything from John, and worked there for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
And
Yeah.
now I'm here.
Yeah.
You're
Making
awesome.
beer.
Yeah.
Now you're here making beer.
keeping the dream alive, for sure.
Of course. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, my very first professional brewing job was actually here,
Okay.
and also my very first like batch that I brewed. Like I wasn't just standing there watching everyone brew it. I actually brewed it. Was here. I kind of skipped the whole home brewing section. I just kind of jumped straight into being a pro.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna get started in home brewing, but then my cousin called me up and was like, "Hey, we're gonna open up a craft brewery. Like, do you want to come help us out? Because I know you like beer and you like brewing beer. Because I had been helping out my dad with his homebrew, but I'm the kid helping out his dad homebrew, where his dad and his buddy homebrew, and I hang out there, drink beer, and just talk.
That's right. Your dad's
maybe
been
clean something, yeah.
Your dad's been a astronaut for years, and for a while.
He's been a astronaut for like years before I even started brewing. Like he was an astronaut for a few years, and I was attending meetings with him. Like it's a wonderful homebrew club. It's full of great people who make some really good beer.
True.
And like I was getting excited about like starting my own system and doing all that stuff. And I had the opportunity to jump to pro, and I jumped up to pro, and it was really fun. It's a great job to have. I love doing it. It was a crazy learning experience, and like I've put down so many batches now. Like I'm ahead, I think, on total batches of my dad.
Sure. Oh, wow.
Well, because
Right.
he
Definitely barrels. I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, definitely on barrels, but he's the kind of guy he brews like a weekend, maybe like a couple weekends a month.
Sure.
Back when they were doing it a lot, and like I come in here and I brew like 2-3 batches a week.
Yeah, no, it's easy. A couple, like 4 years of that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
Good
it's
Lord.
like it's a really crazy learning experience of like when you make that much beer, like, and you make beer that often, you learn a lot about what goes into making beer and changing beer. And so when you talk to people who make beer about like hey, I made this, taste it. This is what I think happened to it. Can you tell me what you think happened to it? And like you learn a lot of like the little things that you can change. When you do it that often, you can do it just so many more times, and you can find out where that granularity is, and it's a really crazy, awesome learning experience, and it's one that I've definitely enjoyed.
So I love this because like I came into this as a home brewer. Let me learn how to brew commercially, and I thought I could do it all by myself. at Saloon door. Like, I was the guy. All right, cool. And then I started freaking out. And then, like, Alex, his cousin, Austin, one of the co-owners, was like, you're freaking out, dude. Yeah. I don't think I can do this by
It's a
myself.
big responsibility.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah.
And and then he was like, "Well, my cousin, he could help. Let me know what you think." And so he just threw him into the frying pan. He'd never brewed a beer in his life, and I was like, "Wow, okay,
Sink or swim.
you know." So, but
big or go home.
I never brewed a commercial batch either in my life. So it was exciting, and we got trained by the same guy.
Yeah,
And-
that was a power weekend.
it was
right
a side by
there.
side thing. So we had a guy fly in from California
Yeah.
to train us how to do this
That
stuff.
was
'cause my
84
caveat.
intense hours right there.
I'm not gonna.
Y'all had a
figure-
lot riding on that, right? I mean, yeah.
I think I slept 3
Well, that's the
times.
only reason
but
why
no
I
more than
did
6
this.
hours each.
I refuse to do this without that kind of training. I was
Yeah.
like, guys, I'm not doing this without knowing how to do this. Like. So that was my thing, and we flew a guy in, and he came from Stone.
Wow.
Like before he was with the Mother Earth, and he trained us. Like he did me on the hot side. I got the brewing side, and he was like, and Alex was listening, and then he was like, but I'm going to train Alex on the fermentation side, the cold side. So Alex was all fermentation, I was all brewing, and it was a side by side, and I was literally third batch on my own while he was training Alex. He's like, you're good. The best thing that the guy ever did, Chris Baker was his name. He's an amazing guy. He's a very talented brewer.
Yes.
He was younger by 10 years than me.
Wait, he's my age?
Yeah, dude, he's your age. He was super young, super
Yeah.
talented.
But beer years.
But
Yeah.
he was like,
Oh,
he was
beer
like,
is ahead
he
of
was
me.
like, the best way you're gonna learn. He's like, you're gonna learn.
I was
this.
making oil and gas when he was making
This
beer.
is really uncomfortable for me. He's like, you're gonna learn how to do this by making mistakes. I've made every single mistake. I still struggle with that when other people make the same mistakes I do. I'm like, come on, man, you can do better.
Yeah.
But I have to remember, like, I made all those mistakes, and I struggle with that. But like Lewis, he also like he started off the street, never brewed a batch in his life.
Never.
So both these guys that are my guys, they're both my main guys. Like they do all the heavy lifting now. Never brewed a batch in their life until they started commercially
So
brewing.
they popped their
Like
pro card.
you were brewing like
Yeah.
at Daily.
Never.
You were at TBR before
Yeah,
you came.
Before that, I was.
How many
just-
batches?
You're a
week were you
correctional
doing?
officer, right, or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had never even brewed a beer. I just got interested and started helping out at TBR, and then before you know it, I'm professionally brewing, and here I am now.
Yeah, kicking ass.
Yeah.
Taking names,
The
kicking
Scene
ass.
Magazine Commercial Brewer of the Month.
What drives being a good brewer? It's passion.
It's passion.
It's passion. It's creativity. It's a love for what you do.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's
You don't have to know anything.
That's
you just
right.
gotta love what you do and
having
want
a
to
passion
do it.
for
That's right.
having a passion for it, and
Yeah.
trying to make the best beer you could.
And it's challenging. It's definitely a blue collar job. There's nothing, that's like celebrity status. Well, I mean, unless you were part of like, the Houston's
Hey,
most hottest brewers,
Nothing wrong.
that kind of thing. But
nobody's like discounting that.
No,
like,
no.
bring it, bring it.
no, but what I'm saying is that like
But is
it
it-
is a tough job. You guys are doing a lot of heavy lifting. You're staying long hours. You're doing a hell of a lot of cleaning. It is work.
That's
yeah.
true.
It keeps us young.
That's good.
All that heat in the face, right? Yeah, I used to joke that it was like a facial or something. Yeah. Just, because I could just feel my face just kind of like, I could feel the heat.
Hey,
on the
what
face.
happens in the mash stays in the mash.
I like it. It's true. It's true.
So, I think I might have asked you this question before. Maybe it was for the magazine years and years ago when Saloon Door first opened. But probably the answer has changed. So, an ideal bucket list setting to enjoy a craft beer. What in a perfect world, what would it be?
Ooh, good question.
It's a really good question. An ideal bucket list.
Yeah, we're gonna go around the table.
I
We're gonna.
already answered.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Actually, I asked you here pretty recently. Yeah, well, go ahead and remind us what yours was while they think of theirs.
Yeah. The best place I think would be to enjoy a beer, I would say, would be Oktoberfest.
Yeah, like in Germany. Yeah,
man.
And just having
How can you go wrong with that one?
A blast.
Just go ahead and pick
having
the
a good
best
time.
answer
Yeah,
to start us off. Now I really
definitely
have
not
to
the
sit here
best
and think about
answer.
my
Well,
answer.
and then the alternative answer is the best setting you've actually have already enjoyed a beer too. So feel free
Son
to
of a bitch.